Coming up, CNN's obtained a video that reveals a man acting as a body double for Saudi journalist Jamal Khashoggi, wearing his clothes and a fake beard to pose as him. Find out what Turkish officials are claiming about the murder. And Strongheart's downtown location is relocating, but it's not going far. Find out what new features the restaurant will have in its 2019 move to East Fayette Street. LGBTQ and civil rights activists are teaming up to protest outside the White House. Find out why they're protesting the administration. Citrus TV News starts right now.
This is Citrus TV News live at 6, your campus news leader. Performers Steve Martin and Martin Short are coming to Landmark Theater next year, and tickets are on sale next week. Good evening, I'm Chris Venzon.
And I'm Elijah Shama. Pre-sale tickets will also be available starting this Wednesday. The show will feature a mixture of musical and comedy performance. One of their previous performances turned into a Netflix special earlier in the year. And Syracuse's new Ethiopian restaurant already has people coming through its doors. CitrusTV reporter Amber McElrath is in studio to tell us more about Habiba's Ethiopian Kitchen.
Habiba's Ethiopian Kitchen is the first Ethiopian restaurant to open in Syracuse. I went to the soft open and ribbon cutting ceremony on Friday and had the pleasure of speaking with the owner to find out more.
The fact that the dream that my mom had and the dream that I had is actually coming true is just the most amazing thing.
Just like her restaurant, Habiba Baru's story is one of a kind. Baru learned to cook from her mother when they lived in a refugee camp in Kenya.
My mother cooked for living and to keep shelter over our heads, so I always, sat with her and just watched everything that she did, and I just learned from her.
Baru moved to Syracuse by herself when she was only 14 years old and had a catering business for a few years before opening Habiba's Ethiopian Kitchen. There was a ribbon cutting for friends and family on Friday, where Baru was honored for her impact on the community.
We know that this is Habiba's passion, and I couldn't be happier for you that you have your own restaurant, and selfishly that we all have your restaurant.
Baru is thankful to the Syracuse community for helping and supporting her along her journey.
The community have been amazing. The Syracuse community have been there for me from day one, just supporting me in any way possible.
The menu features traditional Ethiopian dishes and includes vegetarian and vegan options. Baru and her husband are serving meals 6 days a week, in addition to breakfast and lunch on the weekends.
I tried some of the food at Friday's ribbon cutting, and I agree with the mayor when he says that we're lucky to have Habiba's Ethiopian Kitchen in Syracuse.
So, thanks Amber. Great to have you here. So tell us a little bit about the owner and why she decided to stay in Syracuse.
So she says that the Syracuse community has been so supportive since she came here, and it's very hard to adapt when you're coming from a different country, complete culture shock, and she said that everyone really helped her adapt to the community and pursue her goals and her passions.
You talked a lot about before the show how this name, Habiba's, has a special meaning. What can you tell us about that?
She kind of passed it down from her mother. Her mom had a restaurant when they were at a Kenyan refugee camp, and it was called Habiba's Hotel. Okay. So she kind of took the name from her mom and did Habiba's Ethiopian Kitchen as a tribute to her.
Wow, very touching.
Wonderful story. And the cold seems to be sticking around. Weather anchor Riley Burg is in studio to tell us if there's any hope of the cold letting up throughout the week.
And that's right, guys. It is just cold, cold, cold outside. As we can see, 46 degrees outside right now, cloudy. I had to wear my hat and gloves inside because I am just that cold. It's really brisk and crispy too. And looking at tonight, not getting any better. About 38 degrees outside. We're seeing overcast clouds, so as that sun goes down, it is just getting colder and colder. And you're not going to like what I have to say next, but we're looking at some storm warnings. Moving into Wednesday, we have the possible for a little bit of a rain and a snow mix. And then next Monday, October 29th, we're also going to have some rain and snow mix. But this is the big one to watch out for. Sunday, October 28th, there's a potential northeastern that could be making its way up the coast and potentially reaching upstate New York, like I said, on Sunday. Now, while the path and timing of the storm are still unknown, it is expected to form along the coast of the Carolinas and join with Hurricane Willa. If the storm's path moves inland, it has the potential to hit parts of upstate New York, like I said before. And this melding of the two storms could cause high winds. But it is still unknown what type of precipitation it could cause from this impending storm. So we could see some rain, could see some snow, but just be on the lookout for that. And if you're wanting some good news, guess what? I have it for you. Stay tuned for my full weather forecast coming up.
Thanks, Riley. New York Senator Kirsten Gillibrand says she supports replacing a portion of Interstate 81 with a community grid. In a visit to Syracuse on Monday, Gillibrand said the community grid will best improve the city and support the community. Other government leaders such as U.S. Senator Chuck Schumer and Representative John Katko declined to comment on their own positions. And new details on the investigation of the former SUNY Upstate CEO. Syracuse.com finds that the university secretly paid at least 6 other employees for off-campus assignments. The 6 workers are now banned from working on Upstate property. They were also forced to quit their jobs at the end of their assignments. However, they were allowed to keep their salaries and titles if they did not disclose the assignments and did not sue the university. Here to explain more is Citrus TV correspondent Anthony Dabbundo. Anthony?
Thanks, Elijah. Today's news marks the latest in a series of controversies and resignations that have plagued SUNY Upstate in recent months. The interim CEO hired to run the hospital resigned in March. Then, its chief of staff resigned in May after it was revealed that he lied about his past. Both served less than 18 months in their roles. Upstate's current president, Danielle LaRocca-Arena, announced last month that she will resign in December. Now, local and state officials are investigating these secret payments, which allowed the employees to keep their titles and salaries. The employees were assigned to off-campus assignments and projects. One employee is Catherine F. Mooney, who remained on the payrolls for 12 months and made $205,000 in a year for an off-campus project. However, Upstate said it couldn't find any evidence of what she actually did on this project. This investigation began when Upstate paid its former CEO, John McCabe, over $650,000 for a 14-month assignment involving no documented work. It's important to note that these payments are different from severance packages. Private corporations can offer these, but Upstate is not allowed to use tax dollars to buy out employees. Back to you guys on desk.
Anthony Dabbundo, thank you for the report. A downtown dining favorite is relocating, but don't worry, it won't be going too far. Strong Hearts Cafe is moving its flagship location to East Fayette Street. That's only a block away from where it's currently situated on East Genesee Street, but the new location will have more dining room space and takeout areas. Strong Hearts expects to be fully moved by next year. The food joint says it'll also alter its menu as a part of the relocation.
And Tops is closing a few of its stores. The company filed for bankruptcy in February. 4 stores in Central New York will close, including the one on South Salina Street and another on West Genesee Street. Those will join 6 other stores in New York State that are closing. The stores will close by the end of October instead of the original November timeline.
A former SU basketball player is making his return to Central New York. Etan Thomas is set to speak at SUNY Oswego tonight at 6:30 in the Marano Campus Center. The former NBA power forward is hosting a discussion about activism among athletes at both the college and professional levels. Thomas played for Syracuse from 1996 to 2000 and for the Wizards, Thunder, and Hawks in the NBA before retiring in 2011. Thomas made a name for himself as a vocal political activist, authoring the book More Than an Athlete, Poems by Etan Thomas in 2005. The presentation is free to attend and open to everyone. And locals are calling for action after 2 teens were shot on Syracuse's South Side Sunday morning. People have organized a community hearing via Facebook to discuss violence in the community. The discussion will focus on how local criminal activity is affecting the youth in Syracuse and what's to be done about it in the future. The listening session is set for November 8th from 7 to 9 p.m. at the University United Methodist Church.
After the break, Senator Ted Cruz and President Trump are joining forces today. We'll tell you how the president is showing his support to his former rival.
Plus, Russia says Trump owes them an explanation. We'll tell you why the president decided to back out of a major agreement between the 2 superpowers. We'll be back in a moment.
They said I have troll teeth.
That my voice sounded like a possessed baby doll.
That no one would ever love someone as stupid as me.
That I was fat, ugly.
Disgusting.
The effect of bullying is potent.
We will no longer be the silent majority.
Now, when you see online bullying, there's something you can do about it.
We're gonna take action with the I.
I am a witness.
I am a witness.
I am a witness.
I am a witness.
I am a witness, and so are you.
Come on, it's not that hard.
My big man fingers are having a problem with these little tiny buttons.
Whoa, watch it there. Your blood pressure's gonna go through the roof.
Tell me about it. I'm trying to learn how to get it down. Instead, it keeps going up.
High blood pressure can increase the risk for heart attack or stroke. Learn how to keep yours at a healthy range.
Ever hear a voice command? Just say text barbershop to 97779.
That's not what I said.
Just give me that. Now my blood pressure's up.
Fancy pants peanut butter? a big screen television. You haven't even bought a sofa yet. A motorcycle? When your father finds out, he's gonna flip his shoes with 2 buckles? What do you even need 2 buckles for? Mr. Big Shot, buying whiskey shots for everybody in the bar. From the looks of it, I'd say nobody even remembers. Feed the pig.
Your daughter just had her first breakup. Do you A, put yourself in her shoes? B, console her?
Don't worry, sweetie. This is gonna happen a lot.
Or C, find her a new boyfriend?
Nice, single boys. That was weird.
As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
If you see news happening on campus, in Syracuse, or across the nation, call the CitrusTV Newsroom, 315-443-1177, or tweet at CitrusTV News, your campus news leader.
Welcome back to Citrus TV News. Texas Senator Ted Cruz is expecting a special guest today at a campaign rally in Houston. President Trump will attend Cruz's rally in an effort to ramp up support for Cruz. Trump's arrival makes the rally one of the hottest tickets in town. Crowds are expected to flood the Houston Rockets Toyota Center in attendance.
That's right, 18,000 people are expected to show up, with even more people expected to watch the rally outside the arena on a Jumbotron screen. Cruz is currently facing Democratic rival Beto O'Rourke in a close race for the Senate seat. Polls have the Republican incumbent leading by 5 to 9 point margin. And back in Washington, Republicans are facing criticism. LGBTQ and civil rights activists are speaking out against a Trump administration memo they allege cuts back on their rights. The Human Rights Campaign says the potential move will roll back protections for the transgender community.
A New York Times report says the department in the administration is working on a proposal that defines sex as only male or female, and that sex is based on the person's genitalia at birth. The move could erase the federal acknowledgments that the Obama administration made to loosen the definitions of gender identity in the United States.
And with no winners after Friday's drawing, the Mega Millions jackpot has now reached $1.6 billion with a B dollars. This jackpot is tied for the largest in U.S. history. Wow. A jackpot this big hasn't been seen since January of 2016. If you want a ticket, they can be bought in stores across 44 states and Washington, D.C. The next drawing will be Tuesday at 10 p.m.
Elsewhere, an undocumented migrant caravan passed through the Mexican border en route to the United States. The caravan made up of more than 7,000 migrants from Honduras, Guatemala, and El Salvador. They reportedly traveled several days on their way to the U.S. border in an attempt to escape the current Central American drug violence conflict.
Secretary of State Mike Pompeo met with Mexican officials to discuss plans to stop the caravan before it entered the country. President Trump has said that if Mexico cannot stop the caravan, that the U.S. will turn them away once they reach the border.
There's been an update on the information available surrounding the death of Saudi Arabian journalist Jamal Khashoggi.
On your screens is the surveillance video CNN received from Turkish officials. It shows a man identified by officials as Mustafa al-Madani, dressed like Khashoggi, acting as a body double.
Turkish officials say the use of a body double proves that this was a planned murder. Saudi Arabian officials, however, still deny the murder was premeditated and say it was a mistake. Meanwhile, Saudi Arabia's foreign ministry released a video detailing the timeline of the investigation into the case. The country says that Khashoggi's death was an accident after a physical altercation.
The Saudi foreign minister says his government will punish those responsible for the murder. The Saudi king and crown prince have both expressed condolences to the journalist's family. Russian officials are expecting an explanation from the United States after President Trump announced the U.S. will withdraw from the nuclear force agreement. Withdrawal from the treaty would allow the U.S. to test nuclear missiles.
Trump says the U.S. is leaving the treaty because Russia violated parts of the agreement, and the INF treaty ties the United States' hands with concerns to China's missile arsenal in the Pacific. Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov warns the withdrawal could potentially lead to an arms race between the two superpowers.
Any action in this area will be met with counteraction. Strategic stability can only be achieved on the basis of parity. And we will do everything to keep up that parity. We are responsible for global stability. we hope that the United States will not give up its share of responsibility either.
The Vatican City welcomed Colombian President Ivan Duque Marquez today. Marquez spoke with Pope Francis about the current conflict in his home country.
They talked about the possibility of the Colombian government negotiating with guerrilla members on the condition that those members release hostages. They also spoke about assisting Venezuelan migrants into Colombia.
All right, coming up after the break, the National Grid is predicting lower heating costs for households in upstate New York. Find out how much less you could be paying this winter.
And Jenny Craig is recalling one of its products from the past year. Find out why they're urging consumers to throw away or return this project that might be in their kitchen.
Got a quarter?
They told me a bottle couldn't dream. That I would never become a superhero. But I learned how to fly. Just to come back in a new disguise. And be the hero that I've always wanted to be.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move. So I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day, I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
From the CitrusTV Weather Center, this is SU's most accurate weather forecast.
And welcome back to Citrus TV News. Now, I know I told you I have good news, but as far as tomorrow goes, I don't have any for you. We're looking at showers throughout the day. You can start your morning commute off at about 43 degrees. It's going to be pretty cloudy, and then between like 10 and noon, we're going to see some more showers. Moving into noontime, it's going to be cloudy for your lunch. No showers, so if you did want to sit outside and for some reason enjoy the brisk cold, you could. And moving into the afternoon, again, more showers, but right around 6 p.m., we're going to see about 48 degrees outside. And looking at temperatures throughout central New York, again, a lot of the low 50s. We're seeing a high for 53 in Syracuse and Rochester, and then a high in Binghamton of 49 degrees. So again, we're just seeing lots of cold temperatures outside. But even with those cold temperatures, I have some good news for you. Listen to this. Heating bills are going to be going down this year. Now, upstate New York households are expected to pay $31 less than last winter for natural gas. And the average household electric bill is expected to cost $6 to $8 less per month as well. So if you're wanting to treat yourself, maybe get an extra sandwich for lunch, do it. Now's the time. And I have another reason, if you're jumping for joy at home, to continue jumping for joy. Maybe do a little happy dance in there. I'll tell you more in my 5-day forecast. Stay tuned. Chris and Elijah, back to you guys.
Thanks, Riley. The USDA is recalling a Jenny Craig product. Officials say that the vegetables in the chicken wrap with barbecue sauce may have listeria and salmonella contamination. The company shipped the product to 12 states. There are no reports of sicknesses so far, but officials are urging those with the product to throw it away or return it to avoid any contamination.
Coming up in sports, a barn burner on homecoming weekend was rescued by an unlikely hero of the Syracuse football team, and a rising star on the SU volleyball team continued her hot streak. All that and more right after this.
Did you hear about the pony with a sore throat? He was a little horse. Can I tell you a cat joke? Just kidding. Why couldn't the Why was the basketball court all wet? Why? Because the players kept dribbling all over it. Where did Cavs go on vacation? New York.
Everybody has a dream. Mine was to see the ocean. And with a little help, I made it.
Patriotism. It inspires passionate debate, and it's worn like a badge of honor with good reason, because it means love and devotion for one's country. But what really makes up this country of ours? It's the people. To love America is to love all Americans. This year, patriotism shouldn't just be about pride of country. It should be about love. Love beyond age, sexuality, disability, race, religion, and other labels. Because love has no labels.
They call me Maxie, but I prefer tripod. I was your above-average four-legged homie, and then wham, bam, minivan. Some people pity me. Now that's lame. I still run, fetch, and swim. And the ladies love me. I'm the ultimate wingman. Just don't ask me to high five.
And now, your Citrus TV Sports Report.
Welcome back to Citrus TV News Live at 6. I'm Adam Unger. Now, for over 3 years now, the undisputed face of the Orange has been senior quarterback Eric Dungey, when healthy at least. But a poor showing against UNC might have led to Dungey losing the throne. In a big game for the Orange after the bye week, the first touchdown would end up going to the Tar Heels as they came out red hot despite those suspensions. 10 minutes left in the first quarter. Daz Newsome, just a little dash around the edge, 6-yard touchdown, and that would make it 7-0 UNC. Now Syracuse would take a 13-7 lead into halftime, and this is now early third quarter. Eric Dungey makes it 20-7. A 16-yard touchdown rush, and that would be the biggest lead that SU would have for the rest of the game, because here comes Monio. Looks like he's gonna get down to first and goal territory, but he fumbles. That would be reviewed. It stands, and that leads to a ton of momentum for UNC as the Syracuse offense sputters to a halt. No more Dungey. He's on the sideline. It's Tommy time. And how about this? The redshirt freshman, 42-yard deep ball to Nykeem Johnson to tie things up with 1:39 left in regulation. That would tie it up at 27. Both teams scored in the first overtime. Let's take you to the second. DeVito again to Ravion Pierce, who had been out due to an upper body injury, and that would finish the game as Syracuse wins 40-37. And it looks like Syracuse might have a quarterback controversy on its hands. Dino Baber says he has the answer, but he's not giving it away right now.
I'm going to keep it in-house because I don't want it to be advantage to the people that we're playing because they're such good opponents, and then we'll just kind of take it from there.
And another Carrier Dome team made headlines today. The Syracuse men's basketball team starts at 16th in the AP polls. The Orange piled up 640 points, and they're one of 7 ACC teams in the top 25. Syracuse is returning all 5 starters from its Sweet 16 run, and it boasts new talent and depth for the 2018-19 season. Their first exhibition game is on Thursday. And the volleyball team kept up its strong play in conference and at home this weekend. SU swept UNC on Friday and took down NC State 3-1 on Saturday. And everything ran through freshman outside hitter Polina Shamanova. The Russian phenom had 37 kills and 30 digs over the weekend. Shamanova has nearly twice as many kills as any of her teammates. She's also in the top 10 in the country in kills per set. And the field hockey team didn't have such luck on Friday. They suffered a 3-2 double overtime loss to Louisville. Senior back Rose Wares, a 2-time All-American, shone in what could have been her final game at J.S. Coyne Stadium. She scored both Orange goals, but it wasn't enough. And the loss drops SU to just 1-5 in conference play. And elsewhere in New York sports, the Knicks are heading to the Badger State to take on the Bucks tonight. Milwaukee hasn't lost yet this season. But how about this? Tim Hardaway Jr. is putting up more points per game than the Greek Freak, but Chris Middleton is also chipping in more than 20 per game for the Bucks. So on defense, the Knicks will have their hands full. Tip-off is at 8 p.m. And the matchup for the 2018 World Series has been set in stone. The Los Angeles Dodgers wrapped up a wild 7-game series against Milwaukee Brewers on Saturday, and their next test starts tonight. Tomorrow night, the AL champion Boston Red Sox will start Chris Sale in Game 1, and the Red Sox have had almost a full week of rest, but LA hasn't announced a starter for Game 1 yet.
Well, Adam, it's the question buzzing around campus this weekend. Tommy DeVito or Eric Dungy? What do you think? Does Dino Babers ride the hot hand in DeVito, or does he go with experience against NC State in Dungy?
Well, I think in this situation, you look at how the offense has performed in the last couple games, you almost have to ride with the hot hand. Watching the game in real time, I thought Eric Dungy actually got hurt, and that was why DeVito came in. But even if Dungy's healthy, after a performance like that, how can you not stick with the redshirt freshman?
I totally agree.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. Stick with us after the break.
Look at you. You're at the top of your game. You're unstoppable. Nothing can throw you off track. Wait, is that your car? Uh-oh. Yeah, I saw that coming. That will throw you off track. You're looking at around 10 grand in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Let's try this again. Smart move. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
Leaving hot coals improperly extinguished can cause a wildfire.
Hey guys, it's Smokey!
It looks as if Smokey is going to use the drown, stir, drown, and feel technique. After the first drown, a good start. Next, another drink. And finally, a close feel.
Is it cool? Okay. Yeah.
Hey, Smokey, catch! Oh, my bad, Smokey.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Taking care of a family member can lead to plenty of questions. Fortunately, there's a place to get the answers, for them and for you. Find articles, tips, and tools from experts and others who have been in your place. The Caregiving Resource Center at aarp.org/caregiving.
And welcome back to Citrus TV News. Looking at our 5-day forecast, Wednesday we're going to see again that rain and snow mix like I talked about before. Moving into Thursday, more clouds, 40 degrees for a high, 27 for a low. But Friday, I told you I got good news for you. We're going to see some sun, a high of 44 degrees and a low of 29. And then moving into Saturday for Cuse game day, we're going to see some more beautiful sunshine. It's going to be perfect for tailgating, 52 for a high, 35 for a low.
So, I'm a Florida boy, and that snow has me really concerned. What should I be thinking about? Is it going to happen? Do I need to get out the big coat?
I would have it on backup just in case, especially being from Florida. You know, if you're here from Syracuse, you might be okay.
All right, thanks, Riley.
So much, Riley.
And on this day in history, President John F. Kennedy appeared on television to make an earth-shattering announcement that U.S. planes had discovered Soviet missile bases were under construction in Cuba. The sites contain missiles that could easily target cities in the United States and would mark the beginning of what is now known as the Cuban Missile Crisis of 1962.
Yeah, Kennedy announced a quarantine of Cuba to hold back Soviet ships from transporting any more weapons into the bases. The next 6 days escalated into a tense situation between the U.S. and the Soviet Union, but on October 28th, the Soviet Union announced it would agree to dismantle the missile sites, ending the Cuban Missile Crisis. Soon after, the United States removed its own missiles from Turkey.
U.S. administrations that followed Kennedy honored his pledge to not invade Cuba. In 2015, the two nations announced the official normalization of relations between the U.S. and Cuba. That meant opening embassies and diplomatic missions. And that's all the time we have for today.
All right. Stay tuned for more news on Citrus TV. You can follow us on Twitter. I'm Chris Venzon. Have a good evening.